some local color through the magic of AM radio.
Harkens me back to my youthful, careful days on the playgrounds of Forest Park School and my gifted days.
And what you're gifted, all right. What were you gifted at?
Well, I guess I had some issues.
Detention?
Yeah. When my dad told me I wouldn't plan on going to Harvard anytime real soon.
You're going to have to get in touch with me. We're gonna link all the volunteers via satellite cell phone so that we can put out the message immediately, because you remember the problem we had in January. We had to have Governor Walker come in with the National Guard. It was horrible.
Steve, listen to me. Bring your own microphone because you lost this one.
Okay, Captain Ron, you've been doing this so well for the last few weeks. So go ahead and make my day.
Oh, great one with the magic pen.
Oh, boy, he wants that microphone forever, doesn't he? Now, you got to visualize it. We put a statue of Pete on this. Put him wearing like a hard hat and a flannel shirt, tool belt, snow shovel.
You mean like from the Village People?
Yeah, yeah, a couple of...
Now, wait a minute here.
Coming up right after our first break at 10:30, the all-new Kenosha Day Lightning Round of City and Jeopardy trivia game sponsored by the House of Gerhards restaurant. And hey, there's more good news, boys and girls. Tomorrow at noon each and every Sunday, you can tune in here at WLIP, AM 1050, and listen to the replay of this show. You didn't miss that one, did you? No. You had to throw that in there. And then you can watch the replay of this finely tuned, professionally produced Excuse for a Radio show on Time Warner Cable's Channel 14, Tuesdays at 5 p.m., Wednesdays at 6 p.m., and on Sundays at 6 p.m. It's all in the timing. Many veterans ceremonies planned in the area. Today, of course, we're here, and then the Civil War Museum has some things going on from beginning at 11 to 5 p.m. And tomorrow, Prairie Springs Park. Monday, Jeffrey School, and Wednesdays there's a whole host of, including Veterans Post 1865, Central High School, Salem, Navy Park, and St. Mary's Catholic Church. So we thank you all for coming down. For those that are listening, want to join us, we have a lot of food. 504 58th Street here in beautiful downtown Kenosha. And joining me, our first guest, is State Representative Samantha Kirkman. Big hand for Samantha.
And good morning.
Samantha has a very unique story to tell that
well,
I'll let you go.
I ran into you a few weeks ago at the boathouse.
Go figure.
On a Friday night and having a beer. And I shared with you, and this event came up, and you asked if I got invited, and I said I hadn't yet. But then you invited me, and I talked about a Purple Heart, a little treasure that I had found in my grandmother's one of her bedrooms in a suitcase. And you know, this came about 10 years ago now. She was being moved into an assisted living facility, so we were cleaning up some of Grandma's things. We found this beautiful suitcase underneath. I found this beautiful suitcase, and my dad says I can have anything in Grandma's house at that time. So I pull it out, and I noticed that there was this Purple Heart box, and accompanying it was a scrapbook. And the story goes, or from the scrapbook, is we didn't know my grandmother had been previously married during World War II, and obviously she was given a Purple Heart for her first husband's sacrifice. And so when I opened up the box and saw this beautiful treasure, it really talked about the struggles and the sacrifices that people made and didn't even share with the rest of their family. And so it's the story of Joseph Wojak and my grandmother. They were married for about 11 months. She got the notice, the death telegram that he was killed the day after their 1-year anniversary. Oh, and so I have all the documents that accompany this Purple Heart in a beautiful scrapbook. And I bring it out to share it with people, to again show the ultimate sacrifice people made, and a lot of times that families didn't even really share with themselves, amongst themselves, because they were such private people. Now, my grandmother went on to marry my grandpa Starzik and have my dad and my aunts, and so there is a happy story to it, but I wanted to share it with everybody just because he had one brother, and he was killed. His brother was killed the year before, and I can't really find any other siblings in that family. So I am the keeper of this heart, and I want to share it with my boys once they're old enough to understand the sacrifices that their great-grandmother made during World War II, and that story.
I'm surprised that she put it underneath the bed without telling it. I can understand maybe not telling everybody, but to kind of hide it away, but she put it in a place where somebody was going to find it eventually, right?
Right, and it's a beautiful story. I mean, they have some pictures of how they met, and they have their cards and how Joseph courted my grandmother, and there are a few wedding pictures that they had. There were only 3 or so in the scrapbook, and you know, his body was never returned to the United States. He's buried in North Africa. He was in a bomber, and it looked like he was a gunner. So again, I have the last letter that he sent to her 2 days before he was killed. And I wish I had more of those letters that he shared, but I only have one. So it really is one of those special things that I have come to really appreciate in my family.
How were they married? What was the timetable before, when they got married before he shipped out?
Correct. It sounds like he came home, according to the book, he came home for about 2 weeks on a leave, and they were married, and then he went back to war. And you know, didn't see him again. And the letter I have is dated 2 days before he died in July. And then she received, they were married August 19th, and she received the telegram on August 20th. And then the following documents from the other, you know, dignitaries and officials, from, you know, governors to the President of the United States. And it's really a special, you know, thing that I will continue to have. I want to preserve it for obviously our family into the future.
1943.
Right, yes. So it's just beautiful. So I have the sympathy card. I only have a few obituaries, and because he was Polish, I didn't learn to read or speak Polish, so I haven't been able to translate everything. But recently it came to be through talking at one of the veterans events. Somebody said if I would make some copies, they would find it to a friend and actually translate it for me, so that I could actually maybe read a little bit more about the family history of Joseph Wojak out of Chicago, Illinois. So I mean, I know I have that kind of documentation, but I don't have anything more.
Do you think situations like this have gone on many other places all across the country?
I'm sure they have. And again, people are so private again about those ultimate sacrifices. You know, whereas my grandma had then found my grandfather and moved on and remarried, but again, didn't really share that with her children, my dad and aunts. And it wasn't until I found this underneath the bed that we realized that there was a greater story to tell, a greater love story. You know, I have the first cards that he sent to her, and you know, Valentine's cards, and you know, a picture from you know, one of those classic shots of him as a soldier standing by some flags. Again, their wedding photos, and again, August 19th of 1942, and again, he was killed August 4th.
What church was this?
I don't know yet. I haven't been able to track that down. There's not a lot of data in here. I don't have their marriage license or their certificate. So again, this is a work in progress for me. Hopefully when I get a little bit more time, sometime in my future, that I'll be able to do a little bit more research and find out a little bit more family history. And again, my grandmother and grandfather have passed away, so I'm not able to go back and ask them. That's the hard part for me, is that even though I was able to find this, my grandma had already kind of moved into a different state and wasn't able to share with us what really was significantly a part of her life.
So we don't even know if this was Wisconsin?
I believe it was Illinois and Chicago. Okay. She lived in Chicago at the time, so I do know that, but I don't know what Catholic church it was.
Moving story.
It is.
That's the way to start.
It is. And so, you know, as we go forward and we celebrate Veterans Day, we celebrate all veterans. And, you know, I've gone on my grandfather on the other side. He also received 2 Purple Hearts serving in the European theater. And then my brother went on to serve in the Iraqi Freedom, Persian Gulf War. So, you know, I have a long history of service in our family, and actually went, and a lot of people don't know this, when I was in college at UW-Whitewater, I actually tried to enter the reserves, and I went through the screening process twice. The first time I was 7 pounds overweight according to their scale, and then the second time I was a pound overweight, and took a different path and actually got an internship in the state capitol and decided to serve in a different way. So again, it wasn't my calling to actually serve in the military, but I chose a different calling.
In 1969, it wasn't my calling either, but as long as I had a pulse,
and
many in the room will understand what was going on in those years.
Exactly. And so I truly honor those all that do take the time to sacrifice for our country, and you know, time away from their family and friends to actually serve.
If you just tuned in, we were talking to State Representative Samantha Kirkman. And if you have a story that's similar to this or a veteran that you want to recognize, give us a call, 262-694-1050. We're going to be talking to Representatives Peter Barca and Todd Onstad in a little bit. And what do you have, what's the state of Wisconsin? We're going to talk to them a little bit further, but what's the state of Wisconsin doing to help the veterans?
Well, we work closely with the county organizations, and since we're here locally, the state obviously gives dollars to the Veterans Service Officer. I know I had to call him this week for the listing events that were happening around the county. And again, if anybody is truly in need, those are the types of, reach out to them because they have all the services that are available from the federal government and to the state government at their fingertips. We are really fortunate in our area. We have Union Grove and Southern Center. My grandpa Neath is actually buried there, and there are services available for assisted living through those who need more care. And again, working with Secretary John Skokos, who I've known for years. He's really the person that the governor has entrusted to reach out and be our advocate for veterans across the state of Wisconsin.
Well, it seems to me we've got enough money for all these other projects, and you can't forget these good folks.
Oh, no doubt. And that's why we're here today, again, to recognize all the veterans that are serving currently, and those that have served, and those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice.
We were talking to Samantha Kirkman. If you have a question, you can give us a call, 262-694-1050. I do have to read a couple quick sponsors, and then we'll let you in Post 21 here at 504 58th Street. There's plenty of room, plenty of food, plenty of activities, plenty of displays, and our big celebration and tribute in the last 30 minutes. We were taking your calls, 262-694-1050. Samantha, I know you got another place to go. I appreciate you coming in and sharing this very moving situation here, and I wish you well in finding all the different pieces of the puzzle, and I'm sure in the age of the computer you can find it someplace. So. Right.
Well, and I just appreciate you having me on today and sharing the story. I know the last time I was on, we covered a host of different issues, so today it's again a more focused, laser-focused tribute today, and I know my colleagues are lined up, and the mayor just is here, and I see Senator Rich has just joined us too. So
those guys are here?
They are here. So it's going to be a host of a great guest for you today.
Well, Pete, it's all ahead full now. Until the next half hour. All right, Samantha, thank you very much for coming. All right, big hand for Samantha Kirkman. Let's have Todd and Peter come up for a couple minutes. And while they're coming up, I do want to recognize a family-owned business since 1910. Peter Barca and Todd Onstad. Big hand. You guys will have to share that.
Yeah, thank you, Scott, for having us on and for putting on this wonderful program. We look forward to the Veterans Day ceremony that we'll have on Wednesday right here at the American Legion, and then, of course, the VFW, Vietnam Vets, Navy Club, Marines. Just so many great activities in Kenosha.
Well, thanks, Scott, and thanks to WLIP for hosting this event today. Thanks for everybody in the crowd here today. I'm impressed with the crowd, and every day really should be Veterans Day, honoring all of you for your service. And I'd like to welcome one of the very special person here today, our new Director of Veteran Services, Ollie Nelson. And if you haven't had a chance to meet him yet, I look forward to working with him closely.
Yep. Hey,
oh, boy, Ollie. Don't go too far. We may want to talk to you. Yep. Now, is Ollie, are you employed by the city, the county, or the state? Or
county.
The county, Kenosha. Okay. And you're in the job center?
In the job center.
Okay.
600 Sheridan Road.
You'll get your time. I only made it to private, but they gave me a couple of things I got. Anyway, what's the state, I just asked Samantha, in your view, what's the state of Wisconsin doing to help the veterans?
Well, let me say we did just pass a couple bills this past week. Representative Diane Hesselbein, who's the ranking member of Veterans Affairs Committee, she had a bill regarding hunting privileges and giving disabled vets special privileges because of the limitations that sometimes they face. And obviously it needs to be more of a priority. We're going into an extraordinary session, in fact, week after next, I'd love to see Veterans Affairs issues be added to the call, because obviously there's so many issues that affect veterans on a regular basis. I did see, on a positive note, I do want to mention S.C. Johnson just made a very generous contribution of $1.5 million to Gateway Technical College for training displaced workers. And many veterans fall in this category when they come back from the war. Samantha mentioned, I've got a niece that just came back from a tour of duty in Afghanistan. She flies Osprey jets for the Marines, and but I know from her service, so many military men and women that serve with such dedication oftentimes come back and they can't find the kind of family supporting jobs that are so essential. So I wanted to publicly thank S.C. Johnson for their generous contribution. I know that many veterans will be served through this initiative, and I hope as a state we can dovetail and build on those efforts.
Well, there's a bill that's just recently been circulated, I believe from Senator Mark Miller. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pleased to sign on to that. That would begin to include benefits for mental health issues and also drug addiction to veterans. And as we all know, I think that one of the tragedies that we're facing is the amount of veterans who do not have adequate services. And certainly, in my opinion, unless we can certainly figure out a way to make sure that veterans, when they return home, get the services that they need, we shouldn't be so eager to send them off to war.
Now, I know you all had difficulties from other issues in Madison between Republicans and the Democrats. Is this something you think that, hey, you can all agree on something, hopefully?
Well, generally, I think that is the case. I think, 85–90% of the time when it comes to veterans issues on a bipartisan basis, we almost always come together. And that's the way it should be. Obviously, I think anybody should respect the people who put their lives on the line for their country. And so I'm pleased to say that almost always we come together on these issues.
Yes, it's unfortunate it's not 100% of the time. Last session there was actually a bill that really made restrictions on the people who are afflicted with mesothelioma, which is a fatal lung condition. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people who suffer from mesothelioma are veterans. And there was a bill that actually hampered the ability of people to sue once they contracted that. And we not only were unable to stop that bill from passing, but we had an amendment at the time to exclude the restriction to veterans. So 90% of the time that's a pretty good record in terms of the way things are in Madison, but this is something that we should be 100% on all the time.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules. I know there's many other events that you have to attend, and sharing your views with and the policies and what you want to get through up in Madison, because it means a great deal to these folks here and across the entire state. So thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate the show.
Big hand for
Thank
Peter
you,
Bartlett
Scott.
and Todd Onstead.
And thanks to all of you for your great service.
We have to take a minute break to tell everybody the weather, and we'll get back. What do you think? We'll have the Mayor Keith Bosman join us, and then after that we'll have State Senator Bob Wirtz. So we'll be back in 1 minute right after the weather. Welcome to our Veterans Day celebration and tribute program, streaming live on WLIP AM 1050 from the American Legion Post 21, located at 504 58th Street here in beautiful downtown Kenosha. Being brought to you this morning by our major sponsor, the Boathouse Pub and Eatery, and a host of other very fine local businesses. Also with us, our video coordinator, Trooper Captain Ron, as we introduced before, and along with the WLIP fashion consultant and poster recruiting boy, Peter, Pistol P. Sergeant is here. Also, the show is being recorded for training purposes, and we don't have to deal with that today, do we, Pete?
No.
Okay. But we can...
Everybody knows to turn the tape over.
Yeah. You can also hear the replay of this broadcast tomorrow on Sundays at noon right here on WLIP. And also thanks to my good friend Steve Schneider. You can find us 24/7 on YouTube, 24/7, 365 days of the year. Now, we normally play it's time to play Kenosha's fastest growing game show sensation, the lightning round of City in Jeopardy. I think we'll just play it with our studio audience today, Pete. What do you think?
Good idea.
And so we don't have to clear the phone lines. I'm going to read this question, which is a very sophisticated, intelligent, multiple-choice question. And you will then get 3 somewhat intellectual answers to choose from. After that, we don't have to clear the phone lines, but what we're going to do is, after I read the question, the first hand that goes up can win, if they correctly answer the question, a $25 gift certificate to the House of Gerhardt, which is located at 3927 75th Street here in Kenosha, open daily, specializing in fine dining, serving authentic German cuisine. Celebrating their 50th year at the same location, you can call them for a reservation at 262-694-5212, or you can find them on Facebook or at thehouseofgerhardt.com. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to just play here with our studio audience, and after the question is read in your A, B, and C choices, the first hand that goes up can take a chance on winning $25 gift certificate. Okay, what would General George S. Patton have done had he ever invaded Kenosha?
Don't worry about it.
You're safe. Besides, you're going to be around in April anyway.
We went to Frank's Diner. Stopped at Frank's Diner, and that would have been it.
What would General George S. Patton have done had he ever invaded Kenosha? You guys got to watch for me.
Yeah.
Okay. A, slapped the first trolley driver he could find. B, eliminated General Montgomery from his family and friends' Wi-Fi plan. Or C, hired Donald Trump to build a wall between Wisconsin and Illinois and have Illinois pay for it. Who's the first? Oh, we have a winner. What's your answer, dear? Hired Donald Trump to build a wall between Wisconsin and Illinois and have Illinois pay for it. Yes, that's the correct answer. We have a winner right here. At the 11 o'clock break, Pete's got to get your information, and it's all very sophisticated, and you can go to WIP and pick up your $25 gift certificate. Did you just happen to know that answer, or did you study last night? It was a guess. Oh, study. Very sophisticated crowd we got here. Anyway, joining us our next guest, special guest, the mayor of Kenosha, the Honorable Keith Bosman, joins us. Big hand for Keith.
Good morning. Good morning. Great to be here.
I know you've got a host of other programs going down here at the museum, right?
We have the brick dedication at the museum, with an annual ceremony that we do every year, so that's at 11 o'clock, so
You'll be out of here.
good to be here.
What's that about? I mean, specifically, is that honoring local vets or?
The local vets, people who buy bricks and,
okay.
around the, and then we read the list of all of the veterans.
What is the city of Kenosha doing to help the good veterans? We heard what the state is doing, but what is the city doing, and what could they do better, maybe?
Well, it's more of a state issue. We get into hopefully fixing roads and fixing parks and doing things like that, and we leave the big overriding issues to the federal government and the state government. But I know the state does great work in those areas.
Well, I know that they just passed on your planning commission on Thursday to allow a new family transitional center on 39th. That should help for some that are considered homeless or something.
Sure.
Anything you can do.
Something there's a great need in the community, and it's mainly families. I think we portray homelessness as a chronic issue, and it certainly is with some people, but there are a lot of families who are in temporary need of shelter. And this is a big step up, going from the present location to the future location, and I hope we can get that done over the next couple of years.
It's really not a homeless shelter as a person would envision homeless guys with beards coming underneath the 50th Street Bridge, for example, but it is more of a family transitional center where they could house 40 families and try to get them back on their feet and get them job training and jobs, for all that matters. So.
Well, it's a capacity issue. At the present center, people are turned away. Families are turned away. Families who are in need of, a few days shelter or a week's shelter or a couple of weeks shelter to get back on their feet, and the present location can't handle the volume. So what we need is a new center. I think I'm very optimistic that this will happen over the next couple of years, and I think it's a great location and a great building. We just need the support for the Interfaith Network and the Shalom Center in getting this done.
Now that you're retiring from politics, as everybody knows, in April, your wife sent in all of, this is her bucket list, so you've got your work cut out for you in April, don't you? Or is this just half of it?
Retirement may not look so good, I don't know. I might go into something easy like radio.
Whoa! Mayor Bosman from beyond the three-point arc. My God. Jesus. Well, I guess we had that comment. Oh, yeah, you could join us. Casey was an alderman for 22 years, of which she only went to half of them. So, yeah, that's the way I'll say. Well, at least you go to the meetings. I mean, you can show up here. But any plans other than, maybe go down warm climate? And
No plans. We're not going anywhere. We're staying here in Kenosha, and I try to get involved with a lot of other things. But no plans right now. Certainly no political future, that's for sure. Been there, done that.
Geez, where have I heard that, Peter?
Scott's going for number 3.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Well,
I like my golf game a lot.
I got a couple of bucks to throw in the hat.
Yeah,
there.
right. Hey, go out and enjoy golf.
That's more aggravating than politics sometimes. The way I play.
Yeah. Well, so what's currently going on? You got the budget coming up. We weren't going to really talk politics, but we'll let you go then. But you got this budget coming up at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, we'll work through that. We've got a few more meetings to go. That'll be approved sometime before Thanksgiving. We're working to get U-line in the ground out on the west side and get their construction underway. We're trying to finalize the deal on the Heritage House, and I think we're about as close as we've ever been on that issue. So there are half a dozen things that are going that are big deals that we'd like to get done before we walk out the door. So a lot of good stuff.
Well, a lot of focus was put to the downtown in this building right across the street here that Steve Mills put up. It's just a fabulous looking building and a big asset to the downtown.
Yeah, and if you remember what was there before that building was constructed,
Yeah.
Now phase 2 will start, 40 units just to the south of this building.
Oh, really?
And 40 units all at market rate. So you'll have 100 units here right in the downtown within walking distance of all of the businesses in the area. So and if we can get the Heritage going on the other end of 58th Street here, now maybe we've got some synergy going and some of the other buildings will get repurposed.
Well, then you also have a potential indoor or year-round harbor market and a possible maybe another AMC auto museum if we can work it out someplace. There's places to go and you got some other buildings that probably have to be worked on, but that's somebody else's problem now, right?
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. From the repurposing of Harbor Park took 15 years.
Yeah.
We see the same happening on the Chrysler property. A mile west of downtown, we've got a couple more years of cleanup to do there before we start getting some action over there. So the plan is there. It just takes time.
Well, we appreciate all the work that you've done, 7.5 going on to the 8 years, and I hope you enjoy your retirement. We'll have you on with Morrissey, Chief Morrissey, probably before you guys head out into the sunset someplace.
Yeah, happy to do that.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Scott.
All right. Mayor Bosman, and let's have State Senator Bob Wirtz join me, and while he's coming up, I could read another sponsor here. 20 years worth?
Yeah.
Anyway, joining us before we get to the 11 o'clock break, State Senator Bob Wirtz joins us. Big hand for Senator Wirtz.
And let me say I'm proud to be a veteran, too. United States Army Reserves, I served in there, and I'd like to talk a little bit this morning about, we have a unique opportunity this week in educating the people and celebrating Veterans Day.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm a history buff, and I've always tried to study American history. I love this country, and of course, when you look at the history of this country, you have to look at all the military heroes that stood up and put the uniform on, fought for the country, and paid the ultimate sacrifice. Now, we have a unique opportunity this week here in Kenosha. I'm also a member of the Wisconsin Historical Society, and they are in town this week. And they are putting on free programs, Southwest Library. And on Veterans Day, and we have to educate people about the sacrifices that have happened in our history. And I'm going by memory now, but you can check by the Southwest Library. I think it's 10 o'clock. They're having a program on World War II. I think it's like 11 o'clock on the Korean War, and I think 1 o'clock on the Vietnam War. So this only happens once every 20, 30 years when the Historical Society is in here. You have a chance to relive the memories, bring your family along, educate them on the sacrifice of soldiers in our wonderful history. So I wanted to give that a plug today. And I know I'm going to try and be there at least at some of the lectures and presentations between the different veterans affairs that are going on that Navy Club and Vietnam veterans and others. But golden opportunity to learn about our history and the sacrifice of our veterans.
Bob, other than what Onstead and Peter Barker said, what are you specifically doing, or what is the state doing to help the veterans? I've asked that kind of way, but is there something specific that you can do, Peter?
No, and I'm glad to say that this is a bipartisan thing. Since I've been in the legislature, we've gotten more and more partisan. I always say it's not the legislature that Joe Andrea was in, or even John Antaramian. We've become much more partisan and like Washington, and that's just a sad fact. But we have been bipartisan when it comes to Veterans Affairs, and we had this little scandal, you can call it, about what happened up at King and the proper treatment of veterans. But a lot of that was federal oversight, and of course we're looking at that. But no, I'm proud to say that Democrats and Republicans have both stood up for veterans in the state. And in tight budgets, we always make sure the money is there for veterans. And that's a good thing. That's the way it should be. We can squabble on other issues, but it's important to take care of veterans. I'm glad the mayor talked about taking care of the homeless in Kenosha and families, because unfortunately a lot of the homeless are veterans out there. So I'm always proud to live in Kenosha, a place where a hungry person or a homeless person can get a hot meal 7 days a week with the Shalom Center. So not many places in Wisconsin can make that promise to people in trouble.
Your term is up when?
Next year.
Next year. Fair question is, you going to continue, or?
I enjoy what I'm doing, and
take that as a yes.
It's too early to make that. Too early to make that decision. I'll just say this: I was on the floor of the state senate at 3 o'clock this morning. We got into a contentious discussion. I could use another term, but I won't use it on the radio.
Is that button?
Like 2:30 in the morning, our senior member is Fred Risser, and he's 89 years old. By the way, his claim to fame is he tells people he's the guy that ended World War II. When he got in, he scared the hell out of the Germans, so they settled. That's his story. So when I sit next to Fred, I feel like a kid. That's my secret, to sit next to my 89-year-old colleague. But I enjoy the job, and I learned from Joe Andrea. Service, 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 try and help people with their problems. The issues are difficult, we disagree, but your job is to serve the public, and never forget that. So that's important.
Bob, I appreciate you stopping in. I know you got many other events that you have to get to today, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
And we'll have you in maybe after the first year, and we can talk about some other issues that may come up or not.
And thanks for helping to salute veterans. It's
Okay.
appreciated.
Thank you. All right, Senator Bob Bush. Let's have Alderman Rhonda Jenkins and Keith Rosenberg, I'm sorry. And while they're coming up, I want to read two more sponsors, alderpersons. I got to get politically correct. That's one thing I'm not normally real good at, being politically correct.
Well, honestly, my sign does say Alderman.
Oh, it does?
It fits a little better on the sign.
And Alderman Keith Rosenberg. Folks, welcome. Now, Rhonda is the alderman of this district,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And also a member of American Legion, huh?
Yes, this post.
Now, you have to talk a little bit closer here.
Oh, sorry, yes.
This is not a city councilman. We want to hang on to every word here.
Yes, I'm a member of the post as well.
Were you in the in the military?
Yes.
What were you in?
In the Marines.
Ooh.
4 years of active duty.
What were you? I mean, what was your training?
Aviation maintenance.
Aviation maintenance. A female Marine. Am I in trouble here? Should I be?
Not as long as you're nice, no.
That's all right. You were in the military too, right?
Yes, I was. I served as a missile technician aboard submarines for 20 years.
20 years?
20 years. Served mainly during the Cold War.
What's the city of Kenosha doing in helping veterans get jobs that you know of? I know we're going to talk to this young man.
I was just going to say Ali is going to be the man.
Okay, we'll talk to him a bit, but...
Did you want to go first?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Makes no difference.
Ladies first.
Well, I don't want to step on Ali, but I've actually been recently down to the county job center.
Okay.
I know it's not city, but that's really where we would direct. Pretty much we direct people to a lot of the different organizations that can assist them, which is why I do want to encourage people to come today, because I think there are so many people here today that can help you with benefits even I was not aware of, as I've been out for quite some time, and as I started to get involved with the post and get involved with certain things. It's amazing the benefits that exist that none of us even knew about, and I seriously didn't know about them until July of this year.
Keith?
So,
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, our Veterans Affairs office down at the Job Center,
Yep.
which is in my district, right on Sheridan Road and 85th Street, is a big help to our veterans. And fortunately, a lot of the businesses that, Ron and I have had the pleasure of bringing into Kenosha, i.e. Amazon, Kennel, they do veteran preference
Yes.
for hiring. And we do have a few more businesses coming in that's in the pipeline. We're not privy to say at this
Correct.
time, but they are coming in, and I encourage all businesses to hire veterans. And I know Ron and I, we work real well together to try to do things, amenities for the veterans, i.e., we just installed a fishing pier in my district at Anderson Pond for disabled people, and also we work together on the Kenosha Dream Playground, which is a huge thing for our disabled veterans that are coming home missing limbs, wherever, can bring their kids out and play. And it's all about accessibility, and all about veterans.
If you know this, the city of Kenosha police officers, a lot of them are former vets.
Yes.
Yes.
And the same with the sheriffs.
And also fire.
Oh,
We
seems
have
like
a lot of vets in the fire department.
we're being a little more successful in bringing the hometown boy back and
Correct.
giving him a job and what he was basically trained for, right?
correct.
So what else is going on in your areas in the downtown? We talked about, look at this beautiful buildings and what you're going to have down here. So
Well, I did want to mention that particular building you were referring to has actually teamed up with Society's Assets and is offering, I believe, don't quote me on the number of apartments, but 10 apartments to disabled veterans.
No kidding.
So that is a new declaration from them. So if you know anyone who's interested, there are very specific incomes. It's a smaller income for the disabled veterans, but get a hold of Society's Assets. There are going to be 10 apartments, I believe, available.
how many total apartments over
I
there?
believe, oh my goodness, you put me on the spot. I believe it's 60.
60, and
So-
apparently another 50 or so.
And the
to come?
second base is
Second
coming
base.
soon. So I just want to throw that out there. And of course, I'm fortunate to have NAMI down here in my district as
Oh, yeah.
well for the mentally ill. It's not obviously, we support it through the city, and it happens to be located in my district, but you as well as everyone knows that that's really a serious issue with returning veterans, that we need to address these kinds of things instead of just pushing them off to the side and not taking care of them. So, and one of our aldermen, Jack Rose, is very instrumental in that particular organization, so.
No, not only, Keith, in your district, the pond, you also have the new dog park.
Correct.
And the Kenosha Today, we never did get out, Pete, and dedicate the Kenosha Today fire hydrant, did we? So we got to do it before
I've
the
been,
snow
I've been
fest.
trying to schedule that with you, but our schedules keep conflicting to do that. But I'm more than willing to dedicate a fire hydrant to you, Scott.
You notice where they put the Kenosha Today sign? Right over the bathroom doors.
Yeah. Well, again,
all
it is
comes,
what it is.
yeah, it is what it is, right.
But to add on to talking about vets, fortunately, we have a lot of vets that serve on city council, which I think is great. Not only Rhonda and myself, but we also have Dan Brzezinski, our president. He served in the Army. Jack Rose, retired Navy captain, the alderman of the 15th. And also, I believe Scott Gordon.
Scott Gordon, yes.
Was in the Navy. Dave
Yes.
Paff, Navy.
Yes.
Anthony Kennedy was in Army.
Yes.
Anthony Kennedy was in the Army?
Yes, sir.
Why do you look so
Our
surprised?
side?
Yes.
Anthony, if you're listening, you know I'm kidding you.
No, like I said, if I missed anybody, I apologize, but again, we have a lot of members of council that have served, and, and again, anything we can do for our vets in the city, we try to do.
With the budget coming up in a couple of weeks, as Mayor Bosman indicated, what would be the number one priority that you'd like to see get passed and taken care of in 2016?
Wow.
Well, I would
Roads?
have to say, from what I'm hearing from my neighbors, is fix the roads.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the number one thing. But also, we're trying to push forward public safety. We are in the works. It hasn't been passed yet, but we're trying to push for a couple different police sergeants. We need supervision with our new officers on the police force, and also we have a plan.
Yes.
We're working to actually hire 3 new firefighters next year. It hasn't been approved yet, but that's the plan. We're pushing forward in City Council. And then over the next 4 years, including next year, 3 additional for a total of 12 firefighters to hopefully man our med unit on Station 2, basically.
Well, as the city grows with all the addition of
Right.
Amazon and
So
Kendall,
we're
we got to
trying to be
expand someplace,
proactive.
right?
You know, even though the fire study came back that the fire department is meeting the time requirements, I still have a concern that our med unit, Med 3, is being overworked.
Very overworked.
Which one's that?
It's the one on Roosevelt
Road.
and 22nd.
Now, that would have to service all the way down here,
It
right?
does.
Yeah.
And that's
And all the way down to the south side because Med 2 is not manned.
correct,
We
all
don't
the
have the
time.
people all the time.
And we've got the space for it, we've got the beds for it, we've got the ambulance there, and when they can man it,
They
it
do.
actually frees up 3, which frees up 5, because 5 ends up coming all the way over here as well. It just makes a lot of sense to be able to man 2 all the time.
Well, I think everybody is looking for one, like you said, the roads.
Right,
because,
yes.
Period of time where things kind of got deteriorated there. But the public safety, and there are some issues in certain parts of the city that have to be addressed, and I don't know how you're going to do that, but it seems to be a real
It's
battle
tough.
problem. But
It's tough, especially with all the needs of the city, and this, we're talking with a $76 million budget.
Right.
Operating budget plus the capital improvements plan. It's tough decisions we have to make. But we also try to use good common sense and look what's best, not only for our districts, but what's best for the city.
well, I think for the most part, y'all generally get along, and,
for the most part.
safety, well, I mean, it's politics, right?
Right.
I mean, somebody
Right.
says you got to run like a business, well, it's politics, so you're going to have, a healthy debate is good.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
Correct.
there's no sense getting everything rubber stamped 17-0. You got to have some objections to something. And but I think the public safety and the job that the men and women in the fire department and the police and the sheriffs do, putting their life on the line every single day. Fires down here or shootings someplace else.
Right.
I mean, you got to applaud them. It's not. This
Not an
happens
easy
all
job.
all over the
Not
country
an easy
nowadays.
job.
So in partying, we got about, what do we got, a minute left? If you want to, 3 minutes, if you want to
Okay.
add anything here?
Well, I was just going to actually mention that it's just brand new, bringing it up. I spoke to Alderman Lamacchia, and he brought it forward to the safety and welfare, that I'm also trying to get SUVs purchased. Every other police department, sheriff's department is starting to have SUVs as far as is the primary mode of transportation. Last year, we actually had to abandon squad cars in the middle of the street because they couldn't get through with all that snow we just had piling on. And it's just a safer, I used to work on the county as a volunteer firefighter, and just having an SUV, we would constantly have to go help out with the law enforcement and the people that are having to get out there in the storms. It just seems like it would be, I've done some research on the gas mileage and the tire rotations. Believe it or not, things like that really will help us in the long run as far as that goes. But ergonomically speaking, for the officers who have to sit in those cars for 8 hours a day, I'm a safety, health, and environmental manager on the side. My real, and just keeping them crunched up in the vehicle like that is also wears on our insurance and just the health of the officer themselves.
There was
so.
a time when the sheriff's department had all SUVs, but they found out that they weren't as fast in chases,
Well,
right?
there's a new rating. There's a pursuit rated vehicle. So that's a whole different SUV.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's
Well, yeah, you don't want to have your police department stuck in the middle of a snowdrift.
right. And oh gosh, there was one more thing. I apologize. I was going to bring it up, and now it just slipped my
If
mind.
you have problems shoveling the snow in your district, let me know. Steve.
All right.
Steve is your go-to guy.
Nice.
We have a plan. Like if 6th Avenue gets plowed in here, our plan is just wait till May.
Wait, that sounds familiar. Just joking.
I mean, it's a very thought-out plan.
That's terrible.
All right, Pete, we got to go.
Well, thank you.
You got a minute.
All right.
Pete, do you want the last word?
Oh, sure. And again, I want to put a shout out to all my veterans out there. Please celebrate Veterans Day, and it just so happens Veterans Day is my birthday, and I have many veterans, in my family. I want to do a quick salute out to my uncle Leroy was a Marine in the Vietnam. My uncle Dean served in the Air Force. I have my brother Kenny, my brother Kevin, my brother Gary, all served in the Navy with me. Also, my youngest son, I'm very proud of him, came to me, wanted to join the military, following my footsteps, and I encouraged him to go Navy or go Air Force, but he's a first lieutenant in the Air Force.
Thank you for coming in. We got to go to this break.
No problem.
And I wish you well, and thank you for all your good service and your dedication. And we have to take, 4 minutes for some CBS News and another weather report, and we'll be back with... And welcome to our Veterans Day celebration and tribute program. Coming to you live this morning from the American Legion Post 21, located at 504 58th Street here in beautiful downtown Kenosha. Being brought to you this morning by our major sponsor, the Boathouse Pub and Eatery, and a host of other very fine local businesses. If you just joined us, we've talked to a variety of elected officials, and coming up after the 11:30 break, we have our big finale with Miss Kenosha Kirsten Gonzalez is going to return. We have a special demonstration by Post 21. We have a rifle salute, a special I Am the Flag poem, and Amazing Grace. So if you're out in the area, come on down to join us. They have plenty of food, beverages, rolls. Pete, you set a record on rolls you've eaten today?
No, not yet.
Are you on your 10th? You're on your 10th? Yeah, yes. You gotta start slow and, build up.
There you go. There you go.
And joining us now, from the County of Kenosha Department of Human Services, Ali Nelson, who is the Director of Division Services, Veterans Services, and Laura Greenway. Laura, what's your title?
I'm a mentor with the Veterans Group at the Veterans Court.
All right, Ali. How long you been in town?
Well, I moved, actually was in Racine for about 4 years, and I left Racine, head south in search of warmer weather since I'm a Floridian, and I end up here in Kenosha. So I've been here since August 10th.
Normally, people go from Wisconsin to Florida. Have you been through a winter yet?
Oh, been through several.
Oh, welcome back.
Yes. All right.
Now, have you held this type of position in other areas? Did you say in Racine?
Yeah, Racine. I was there in Racine as a county veteran service officer for 4 years, and then I left there in July and here, and took over the Division of Veteran Services in Kenosha back on August 10th, 2015.
So this was a original position. They didn't create this, right?
No. Mr. Darrell Green, who was a director, retired, and since I live right here in Kenosha, I applied for the job and was selected and appointed in the position.
So what specifically do you do with the veterans?
Well, my job entails helping veterans seek benefits, and I look at it from cradle to grave, where you could be a person that come in the office, say, I need my son to get more information about joining the military, to where we have to bury someone out in Union Grove at the cemetery.
And Laura, your position?
I'm a mentor with Veterans Court. On every Tuesday, Judge Piontek donates his time for veterans that have been in trouble with the law. A lot of veterans have difficulty readapting to civilian life, so they turn to drugs or alcohol. And when they get arrested, there's a group, a team that gets together and decides whether they are a good candidate for Veterans Court. And when Veterans Court, when they are determined to be a good candidate, they go to Veterans Court. Now, they usually have they've already been through a trial, and a lot of them have court sentences, could go to jail. At a minimum, they have to be on probation for 18 months to 2 years to be a candidate, because otherwise they could just leave.
Do you think the federal government could be more helpful in preparing veterans instead of here's your discharge, thanks for coming, and help prepare them to go back into civilian life, both in jobs and the items you're talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think they could do a lot more. I think when I was in graduate school, I felt that it's called post-traumatic stress disorder for a reason. Post meaning it has to have been 6 months or longer with the symptoms. Otherwise, it's called acute stress disorder. Now, a lot of times in the beginning, they would test people for disorders immediately upon discharge. Well, they're not going to say anything. They want to go home. They're not going to say, I have headaches, or I can't sleep, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. They're not going to say that. They want to go home. They want to be with their families. But a lot of times, once they get back to their families, the families, a lot of times the wives have been having to handle everything while the veteran's been gone, and they're like, you're home now. That was then, this is now, get over it.
What do you think the percentage is, or guess if you have to, of the number of veterans that get discharged that fall into this classification that possibly could have this eliminated if the government would take care of this?
A lot. I don't have a
70%?
percentage.
More than 50, right?
I would definitely
That
say
have been
more
in
than
combat,
50.
I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say anybody that's been in combat, you're not going to expect them to come home and just get over it, you know? And so many wives, family, that was then, this is now, you're home now, forget it. It's not going to happen.
Go out and cut the yard.
And it's
That's
not.
gonna work,
It's not.
right?
No, it doesn't. So, you know, with that kind of attitude, they're going to withdraw. And they look for alternatives to be able to handle their situation. Because so they come home, their wives, their family members, their whatever, you know, they're angry too because they look at it as they were abandoned. So they have an attitude, and the service member, male or female, that just got back needs comforting, needs to regain his station, his position, his reality back in the United States. It's a completely different world. Even when people go to boot camp, when I went to boot camp, I felt like I went on another planet. It was so different from what my normal life was like. Now, while I've never been in combat, I can't imagine somebody being in combat and then turning around, coming back to civilian world and being expected to just be normal.
Well, I know
so of course they're not.
When you go into basic training, you know, the military's philosophy, right, is to take civilian and you have to put them all thinking and operating as one. And then now when you come back, they kind of shuffle them off.
Well, they do. In so many ways, they actually do. And now the veteran services are, Ali, he's wonderful. He's helped me. They're doing more now than they were. They're learning that you can't just shuffle them off and say, hey, you're back home, be happy, you're over, it's done, move on. It doesn't work that way. Now they're learning that more and more of them need counseling, and that's why this whole Veterans Court is such a wonderful thing, because a lot of these people, with their difficulty in returning to the real world and going to drugs and alcohol and getting arrested, the Veterans Court helps them regain their...
We got to move on. Ali, you got parting words there?
Yeah, Veteran Treatment Court is a post-conviction court, second jurisdictional district of Wisconsin, involve Kenosha, Racine, and Walworth counties. And we're trying to help these individual veterans get back on their feet. You know, for some reason, they end up, on the doorsteps of the criminal justice system. And when they joined the military, they were our nation's best and brightest individual going into the military, and they come back home and something happened. So our job is to help them get back on their feet. And that's why the Veteran Treatment Court is there to help them. It's a specialized court, and it's different than your normal court. And what's so unique about Veteran Treatment Court is the fact that we have mentors like Laura Greenway, and these individual mentors have to be serving the military. They try to help these individuals get through the court system so they can become productive citizens back in society.
Ali and Laura, I thank you for sharing your stories with our audience, both here and that are listening this morning. I wish you well. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Joining me next with a short story is Alderman Bob Johnson. While he's joining us, I do want to thank our sponsors. Good. Bob, you got a story to tell us?
Well, it's not so much a story as much as it's just a reminder to the veterans in Kenosha and Kenosha County that Herzing University, where I'm a professor of business, has recently launched a partnership with Kenosha County Division of Veteran Affairs as well as Great Lakes Naval Base to offer a program where veterans who are returning from home and or folks who are here already looking to move into the college and university environment, they will be receiving college credit for military training. Something we're real excited about bringing to the county. And this was launched because my father was a Vietnam veteran. He served on the USS Santa Barbara, an ammunition ship, and regrettably we buried him in April. And I tell people, while he wasn't a casualty of war in the traditional sense, he did come back as a casualty of the Vietnam War with PTSD, paranoid schizophrenia, and such. And one of the promises I made him on his deathbed was that through his life I've learned compassion, and as a legislator I would carry the torch. So I contacted the executives at my university and said, how can we help the returning veterans and the folks who are looking for employment in a meaningful way? And we came up with a program called Medic to RN, which is targeted for veterans and such. Thank you.
Okay, Steve?
Hello.
Oops.
I represent the submarine vets. We actually meet in Racine County. We're a regional veterans organization, but we're an exclusive club because not everybody serves on submarines. But I also am the chaplain of American Legion Post 21 and VFW Post 7308 and a District 1 chaplain. So veterans do serve the local community in schools and veterans organizations and churches.
All right. I've got a number of people I got to get to before the 11:30 break. Bob, thank you for coming. And Stephen, thanks for sharing your story. Coming up next would be Anthony Diller and John Dillevin, right? Did I get that right? And while they're sitting down, I do want to remind everybody on Thanksgiving Day, which one? Whoops. That's me. No, okay. And is the president of the Disabled Veterans, and John would be the state representative of the Disabled Veterans Motorcycle Club. And I'll let Anthony go first. Explain kind of what you do.
All right, well, we're a big hand in the communities, trying to reach our hands out, help any veterans in need. Also, we ride for the ones that can't. We are looking for some qualified members, and we do a lot of local rides and a couple of long-distance rides throughout the year. A few things that we also do is, like I said, help out the community. We helped out Clinton Elementary School out in Clinton, Wisconsin, bring some pumpkins for them for Halloween. And right now we're looking for donations to help them out with Christmas trees. We also are looking in the future to get donations to help our local disabled homeless veterans or any veteran in need with clothes, food, water, socks, blankets. You know, what we had in the military is what we need to get by. So that's.
What's a number or a email or a website that they can go to?
You can go to dvmcinfo@gmail.com.
Do that again. One little story.
dvmcinfo@gmail.com is an email address to get some information about us. To be able to get into our club, you have to be a service-connected disabled veteran, whether through the military or the VA, and we'll be able to get you in and get you rocking and rolling and get you riding with us.
How many members do you have?
Right now, we're at a strong 4, but we're...
You got to build, you know.
We got to
start
build.
small.
We got to build. We've been at this for about 4 months, so it's fairly new MC that's in the Wisconsin area.
And nationwide, there's 13 chapters, and we range all the way from Washington to Oregon to Nevada, all the way to here in Wisconsin to Maryland to Kansas. So we're about 60 to 70 members total.
All right.
Like Tony was saying, you have to be exclusive. We're pretty exclusive. You have to be a service-connected disabled veteran. Once we come entering into our club, we also help you advance into your claim process. There's a great deal of knowledge. I've got 26 years dealing with the disabled veterans, dealing with the DAV and the VA, and how to process and help with claims.
Very good. I thank you for stopping this morning and sharing your story with us, and everybody that, what's that website one more time?
You can also find us on Facebook under Disabled Veterans Motorcycle Club.
There you go. Okay, very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Woody, we got time. We're going to do these two. Okay. Joining us is Dan Boring and Frank. Which one's Frank? What's your last name?
Kenosha.
How do you pronounce that? I'll say it.
Kenosha.
Kenosha, okay. And you gentlemen represent?
Well, first of all, my name is Dan Boring. I'm a member of the Southern Wisconsin All Airborne. It's one of 99 chapters of the 82nd. What our chapter does is we do about 7 functions a year, and our chapter raises money for wounded warriors. We have nothing to do or are not affiliated at all with the Wounded Warrior Project. 100% of the money we raise is hand-delivered to the wounded warriors at Walter Reed Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland. Those checks are hand-delivered by me to them at the hospital. It's our way of saying thanks for all the sacrifices that these men and women have made for their country. And as long as we have boots on the ground, we'll continue to do what we're doing. And so without all the support from all the veterans and people like you that come and help support us, we couldn't continue doing what we're doing. So on behalf of all the members of the Southern Wisconsin All Airborne, I'd just like to say thanks for all your help. And if anyone is interested in donating to our chapter, they can go to our website, and it's 82ND-SWAAC.com. And whether you donate $1 or $100, 100% of that money will be hand-delivered to a wounded warrior at Walter Reed or Fort Sam Houston, Texas. So thanks again, and I salute all you vets out there.
One of the things I do want to point out, it was explained to me that no expenses come off the top, right? Everything is donated.
That's correct. People have asked me, okay, who pays for your travel when you fly out to Walter Reed? I take care of those expenses. I was fortunate enough to retire from American Airlines, so I fly out there on a standby basis. I leave early in the morning and normally come back at night. And when I'm out there, I normally pay a visit to Arlington National Cemetery, where both my parents are buried there. And also, I'd like to give a shout out to my granddaughter, PFC Aliana Conti, who's serving right now in the Army Reserves. Big salute to her, and a salute to my father, who was a combat World War II vet. Thanks for their service.
All right, a big hand for Dan and Frank. Thank you, gentlemen. Go ahead.
Frank Kenosha, I'm President of American Legion Riders, District 1. We stretch from Kenosha here to South Milwaukee, all the way to Beloit and Janesville. We are 90 strong. We are an only authorized motorized color guard for the American Legion. We do ride motorcycles. Like I said, we're 88 or something like that right now. Anyone with a motorcycle with a American Legion membership, Sons of the Legion or Auxiliary, please get a hold of me and come on into our fold.
Very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, our last two guests before we get to our finale is Woody, what's your title here?
Post Commander.
Coast Commander. And rejoining us is Ollie. Big hand for Woody and Ollie.
Right.
Sounds like a sitcom, Woody and Ollie.
Woody and Ollie.
Woody and Ollie show.
I love it.
Hey, it's a really good show, too. We're really liking what's going on.
Amen.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, first I'd like to thank the WLIP and the Kenosha Today show for coming out and doing this, and all the groups, Ollie, the politicians, the riders, the VFW riders, the disabled riders, all the organizations that are represented today. This is really awesome. I couldn't hope for anything better. I hope this is something we can start doing annually, and just again, thanks everybody for coming out and supporting us.
Ollie?
Hey, we got to give Woody a big round of applause, because I tell you what, he put a great program together, and I think we need to recognize Post 21 for an outstanding job today. All right. I would say good morning, Kenosha. You know, because that's what it's all about. Here we represent our bravest and military in the world. And I tell you what, we got about 13,000 veterans in Kenosha. But Kenosha is a very vibrant place, and we're doing a lot of great things in Kenosha. I'm proud to be the county veteran service officer, and I work for a county executive who is all about veterans. His dad is a World War II veteran as well. And if I need any kind of money, guess what? He said, Ollie, you need money, come ask me about it. So I'm proud to be a part of this outstanding county.
Ollie, I need some money.
Okay, you got it.
Don't you want to know how much?
As long as it don't have a whole bunch of zeros behind it.
It does. That's my bar tab. That's what I want. All right, we have to take one more break for the weather, and coming up after the weather, we're going to have Post 21 ceremony here, and then we have Miss Kenosha is back with us. God Bless America, and we have a poem, I Am the Flag, Amazing Grace, and the final gun salute, and then taps, and then what?
Can I take a second?
Where you going?
Hey, there's one other thing I wanted to do is all these vendors that came out. Carl Bogar with Kenosha Historical Military Impressions. The other groups that are here, these guys do an awesome job with these displays, and they come all over. And anytime you need them, you know, they'll come out and do displays for you. And they've been great to us. So let's give them a big round of applause too.
All right. We will be back with our finale in 1 minute after the weather.
We were rolling down this road in
Anbar Province
3 personnel carriers
with 16 of us on board.
All of a sudden
There's a huge explosion.
We knew right away
It was an IED. The first vehicle
got wasted, and those guys took
a huge hit.
Then we started taking
Sniper fire and RPGs from the hills.
In today's military, women face the same dangers as men.
It's pretty amazing.
We made it out alive.
But when they come home, women veterans confront a whole different set of challenges, like unique healthcare issues, or not receiving respect or even acknowledgement for serving in harm's way. DAV understands the problems women veterans face, and we can help. Many DAV advisors are female veterans. They've been there, and they're ready to provide expert guidance. DAV fights to get you the health, disability, and financial benefits you were promised and earned. If you're a veteran, visit DAV.org for free help.
We are back making the turn, heading to the home stretch for this morning's Veterans Day tribute program. If you just arrived on the trolley, this is the Kenosha Today Weekly Report coming to you live from the American Legion Post 21 here at 504 58th Street, located in beautiful downtown Kenosha. We have one special guest. Go ahead, you have to introduce yourself here.
My name is Amanda Elmrez, and I am a National Service Officer with Disabled American Veterans. I actually work at the Veterans Benefits Administration Building at 5400 West National Avenue in Milwaukee. I just want to say thank you for your service to all servicemen and service women who have served in the past and in the future, and of course the present. I'd like to tell you that the National Service Officers were at least 270 strong. We have over 100 offices nationwide. And what I do is claim work. We do the advocacy for the veterans and their family members. I just want to again thank you for your service. And if you have any questions, give us a call at Disabled American Veterans. Our phone number locally is 414-902-5736 in Milwaukee.
Very good. Thank you for joining us. And now I direct your attention over to the left side here where Ron Hessel, is a past state vice commander, 25 years American Legion member, and he's a special presentation for you.
Most of us have been deeply touched by the loss of an unknown whereabouts of a loved one who served in the military. We go about our daily activities and rituals with little thought of those who have died in combat, those still missing in action, even those may possibly be still prisoners of war. Our day should not be dismal, overshadowed by the activities. However, we should never forget that sacrifices made by military men and women, and especially those and their families who have given the ultimate sacrifice, their life. Many people do not know exactly where the POW-MIA ceremony started with or at, but it is known that it did start during the Vietnam War with the river rats. And that ceremony came over to the United States, and to this day is performed at all military functions and military service functions before a dinner, a meeting, and etc. And today I'm going to perform the empty chair ceremony. We'd like to take this opportunity to remember the incredible costs paid by those who gave their all to preserve the freedoms that we enjoy with gallant individuals who fought and died for our country. Yet it is in remembering our fallen comrades that we are reminded of those whose fate is still unknown, those still missing in action, and prisoners of war. For those who have served and those currently serving in uniformed services of the United States are ever mindful that the sweetness and enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness and personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, separation, and internment. I call your attention to the table beside me. It is set for one in honor, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones tonight, so we join together to pay a humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. The table is round or square, symbolizing the fatality of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The table is set for one, symbolizing the fatality of one prisoner alone against his or her oppressors. The red and white ribbon on the vase represents the yellow ribbons worn on the labels of thousands who demand with unyielding determination a proper account of our comrades who are not among us. The rose in the face signifies the blood that they have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose reminds us of the families and friends of our missing comrades who keep faith while awaiting their return. The slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of their bitter fate. those captured and missing in a foreign land. The salt is sprinkled on the plate to remind us of the countless tears for those who have never come home, and of the tears of their families and friends whose grief it knows no end. The Bible serves as a reminder of the comfort of faith offered to those who face seemingly unresponsible challenges, and it also reminds us of our country being founded on the principles of one nation under God. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us this day. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our heart, which lives in our hearts, to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, to the open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many may never return home and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. The chair, it is empty. They are not with us. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back amongst our ranks. Let us remember and never forget of their sacrifices. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families through Christ our Lord. Amen.
And now please welcome back Ms. Kenosha Kirsten Gonzalez and join her in singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America. Bless America. God bless America. My home, sweet home.
That's not it. That's not it. I am the flag of the United States of America. I was born on July 4, 1776, and the Declaration of Independence is my birth certificate. The bloodlines of the world run through my veins, for I offer freedom to the oppressed. I stand for many things to many people. I am the nation. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Anzio, Normandy, Guam, Iwo Jima, Korea, Saigon, Grenada, Beirut, Panama, in the Persian Gulf, and a score of places long forgotten by all those who were there with me. I was there. I led my soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen. I followed them. I watched over them, for they loved me. When freedom called, I answered and stayed until it was over. I left my heroic dead in Flanders fields, in the oceans of the Pacific and Atlantic, in the steaming jungles of Vietnam, the waters of Persian Gulf, the sands of Desert Storm, and Iraqi freedom. I was conceived in freedom, and God willing, in freedom I will spend the rest of my days. May I possess always the integrity, the courage, and the strength to keep myself unshackled, to remain the citadel of freedom and the beacon of strength to the rest of the world. This is my goal, my hope, and my prayer. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on in the streets of countries I have helped set free, and sadly, even by my own country, and by those whom I have given the freedom to express their rights. It hurts, but I shall overcome because I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all battle. When I fly half-staff to honor my soldiers, my name is Old Glory, and long may I wave, dear God, long may I wave.
Again, I'd like to thank everyone for the Veterans Celebration today, and I'd like to send a special thank you to a post member who can't be with us today. He's listening now. David Vanderwarn, we love you, brother.
Well, don't go away, we got some time. We thought we'd have a little bit extra time, or
Okay.
we tried to cut it, but you know, when you're doing live, I'd rather have a little bit extra time. You out of words?
Well, never out of words.
You don't sing, do you?
No, I don't sing. You don't want that. I can't dance.
Let me thank our sponsors, and we have about 8-9 minutes left. So again, I want to thank. There you go.
All right, yeah, the Marine Corps birthday. We got to thank our brothers in the Marine. Also, our guest Laura Greenway had mentioned to me too. The Veterans Court is in desperate need of mentors, and you can get a hold of us here, and I can get you in touch with Laura, and you can talk about that, or Ollie Nelson, the Kenosha Service Officer. Again, I'd just like to thank all the veteran groups that came out today. This is awesome. The displays are great. The different groups working together. This is what it's all about. And Veterans Day is a time that we get together and remember our service and thank the men before us and after us.
Men and women.
Men and women. I'm very guilty of that, and I apologize. We have a lot of great veterans.
So we play disclaimers at the beginning.
That's right.
If you didn't see that.
I am proud to say that Post 21's woman membership is growing. We have our aldermen, my sister. We have a lot of women veterans here that are, and that's what we need. We need a lot more women to come up, and there's a lot of issues that are important to them, and we need to work on.
So who do they call? I mean, what's the numbers, or website, Facebook, or?
Get a hold of us here at the Post, 504 58th Street. Like our Facebook page. That's another good one. Thank you. We have a Facebook page. You can get a hold of us anytime. Oh, wow. Scott, you caught me. You can reach us anytime down here at 657-7464.
Next time we'll have you in the studio when people can't see this.
Yeah, thank you.
Stumble and mumble. No, but big hand for Woody. Does all you post commanders have done a fantastic job. And Miss Kenosha, Kirsten, no, when you're going there. Unlocked, left the door unlocked?
Sometimes.
And a big hand for Pete. Sergeant, it came all the way from, it was up in Marshall broadcasting a football game. And of course, you could hear Pete 5 to 7 on this. What's that dopey show you got?
Lip Off.
Lip Off.
That's the name of the show.
It's not dopey, I should say that. With Dan and Pete from 5 to 7.
Just remember, I run your board. You got to be nice to me.
And a big hand for our video coordinator, Ron. You'll be able to see this. If you get Time Warner Cable, Channel 14, you'll see it Tuesday at 5, Wednesday at 6 p.m., and also next Sunday at 6 p.m. And then you can hear, what do you say? You can hear the replay of this tomorrow at noon on AM 1050. Okay, Pete, let's open the phone lines, see if anyone wants to call us. Pete, we haven't, surely, anybody wants to call us, 262-694-1050. You got exactly 7 minutes to give us a call and make a tribute. If you have a question for Woody, if you have a question for Pete, you got a question, go ahead, go to that microphone there.
Why don't you follow him up there real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, if you got something to say, now's the time to do it. Go right.
Thanks,
Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Forgot his name.
It's not the first time that's happened.
No. I just want to put out there to everybody that's listening, and obviously everybody that's here in the audience, that the American Legion, we're not just a military service organization that are made up of veterans. Against popular belief, we are not a drinking club. And against popular belief, we are not a card-playing club. We are veterans that gather together and we keep serving after our military service has ended. We are here for our communities. We are here for our children. The American Legion was the founder of the bill And now I'm having a Woody here. My brain just went blank. But what's that? Yeah, the GI Bill. That's it. The GI Bill. Whew. Thank you. Thank you. We also have many scholarships to our high school students and all of our students. We have an oratorical program, which is a constitutional program where they can earn up to $25,000 in college scholarships. We also have Badger Boys and Badger Girls State, where you learn about the political realms. There's many scholarships. Students, parents out there, if you haven't heard about this, please contact your principals and your counselors to get them on board and start doing their job, because the American Legion with other service organizations do a tremendous job in working to get scholarships to our children for future generations. Thank you, Scott.
Okay, you got another announcement there?
Just real quickly, again, I'm John Dillevin. I'm the state representative for the Disabled Veterans Motorcycle Club. We're raising a fund for the Clinton School District down in our area for Christmas trees, and we're collecting donations today. If you are also looking for information about our club and would like to join the Disabled Veterans, you can also go to the dvmcinformation@gmail.com. Our last fundraiser was 32 pumpkins we raised, and we were able to donate them. You can also contact me directly at 608-346-1644 to also donate if you would care to. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, before we close up, I just want to thank Woody and all you fine folks down here at the American Legion for inviting us and having us. And hopefully we can come back and do this again. I think this is very important that we recognize and salute all our veterans and all the fine things that they have done over this year. Carl?
Well, Tom has asked me to make a mention that, being the first vice commander, that our meetings are the third Tuesday of the month from 7 p.m. to about 8 p.m. We invite all veterans in the area to come out and check us out, and hopefully we're a good match for you. And to share one thing that I'd like to remind everyone in the room is that Veterans Day is a day from my perspective, that it isn't about us veterans. It's about the community that is not a veteran, and that they have the right to do things, in the words of one of my commanding officers in the Marine Corps, that democracy is tolerance to everything that you despise. That they have the right to do things that we despise. And we're celebrating not us, but we're celebrating that 99% of Americans have the right to do things that we chose to defend that right for. So I wish everyone has a great Veterans Day. And remember, it's ultimately everyone's day, not just our day.
Okay, this concludes our program for this morning. We invite everyone to join us again on AM 1050 every Saturday morning for our fresh Kenosha Today show, weekly report. Steve Casey, our co-host, will be back next week. And so again, thank you for coming.